Welcome back, everyone. Trapped Offside, episode 3. We've had international break this weekend, so a bit of a break from the Premier League, not much to review, but lots to preview for next week. Given international break, Jithin is taking his own international break here out in Dubai, making a quick appearance. Jithin, what's up? How's it going?
It's beautiful as ever. It's a good international
Wow.
break.
Okay.
Living the big life, eh?
Stressful two episodes with all you guys.
Big flex.
Needed a break
He also
already.
met. He also met Andy Carroll.
Oh yes, I met Andy Carroll. I met
Wow.
Leicester, Arsenal defender.
Awesome.
So Dubai is basically popping.
Sick.
But good to be back. Never gonna let the boys behind.
For sure, homie. And we also have Kunaal finally joining us. Kunaal representing Arsenal.
Welcome to the team, bro.
We have some
Welcome.
mixed representation here finally.
Yeah, finally. I've heard all the banter, and I finally get a chance to talk back now.
Yes.
SHEGZ had a nice ending
Finally
on the
we-
previous episode.
Finally, we can discuss about relegation as well.
Oh, what's relegation? I don't think I've heard of that before.
No, Jacob. You missed it. Arteta got manager of the month, right?
I don't see any of your managers get manager of the month.
A lot of relegated managers do that. No, jokes aside, no. We only
Lampard.
want the best for Arsenal always.
But
Get
yes,
sacked straight,
I'll believe
not
it when I see it.
relegated, Sacked.
Yeah.
congratulations to
Okay.
Arteta. I think Kunaal has a lot to say on Arsenal. We'll leave it with Kunaal and take it away. Your thoughts on Arteta, manager of the month. Your thoughts on the club. So, how they're doing so far. Your expectations and yada.
Right, yeah. Where do I start? Okay, manager of the month. I mean, in a month with only 3 games, I feel like that's kind of like you should probably just skip that. And we also had a fairly light schedule. What's the clap for? Yeah. We had a light schedule. We had Norwich. Who else do we have? Let's see. Was it Burnley? It was Burnley. And Tottenham,
Spurs,
which
no?
was
Yeah.
well, yeah, but like that's apparently a guaranteed win these days, especially 3 goals. They like getting 3 goals against them. That's for sure. I think the game plans in most of those games were fairly good. I mean, I don't know if I can say he deserves manager of the month, but he's the only manager that won every single game that month. Again, 3 games, not a really hard thing to do, especially if it's bookmarked in September by massive loss to City and then tie to Brighton. So I feel like that's a weird thing to do. But you know what? The players have been playing well for him, at least on the defensive end. We've gotten 1 goal put past us in the last month. So that's not too bad. I mean, how many teams can really say that, right? He's doing something right with the defense. The problem is the offense is just having Odegaard in there, having Emile Smith-Rowe in there, having someone as attacking as Aubameyang, having Saka, having all these guys, and even having defenders that can make passes now. I feel like the team should be a lot more creative. Only getting 8 shots against Brighton, that's like you can't do that.
Once you got all your players back, because I know you had a lot of them out missing from injuries, do you now see the idea that Arteta has with your team, or do you now see a vision or like an identity that Arsenal are moving towards?
I see half an identity. I don't see a full one because it's so haphazard on the offensive end. Sometimes they put in 28 shots, 20 shots, and then other times you can't even get over 10. And again, okay, Brighton, they do have a very big back line, but with the creativity, as I said, and having a Saka, having a Emile Smith-Rowe, even having a Pepe on the bench, which doesn't get used that much anymore, you should be at least getting more shots. I mean, most of the shots against Brighton were like Partey and Lokonga taking shots from our goal, essentially. Like they weren't doing too great recently. And again, even the games against Norwich, even the games against Burnley, they were a struggle. Like we barely beat those teams, and they're at the bottom of the table, which is unfortunately close to where we're closer there than we are at the top, even though we're only about 6 points off top, which it's early in the
Yeah.
season, I still I'm willing to give Arteta a chance, but that job is too big for someone who hasn't managed their own team before. I feel like bringing him in was a mistake, and it was kind of cheap by the board, by the ownership to bring him in. I mean, look at Chelsea. You bring in a new manager after a legend, and the team looks completely different. Like, they are so much more solid defensively most of the time. Same thing offensively. So, as much as I'd like to say, all right, I can give him 2 more years, we don't have that type of time. We're Arsenal Football Club. You can't give someone that much time anymore.
But he won a trophy for you, right?
Okay, but it's a Mickey Mouse trophy. I know it was a huge trophy. FA Cup was massive, but now it's nothing. Like,
at that time, it seemed like the right move and everything. He beat City, he beat Liverpool, he beat
yes.
I think Chelsea, all
he beat
within
Chelsea
a
when
space
they
of
couldn't
two
buy
or 3
him,
weeks,
yeah.
I think. And so everything was it was like
There
the
was a
new
bounce.
manager bounce, and
For sure.
everyone felt it was the right move at that time. So what changed from then until now, where things just completely flipped on its head?
So part of it is, when he came in, he didn't have time to fully input his system, or whatever we think his system was. So there was still a bit of Emery, as bad as he was as a defensive coach, his mindset was, I don't care if you score 10 goals on me, I'm going to score 11 on you. That's the way he played at Arsenal. Maybe not so much now, but that's how he was playing at Arsenal. So the team was scoring a lot of goals. And the downfall of Arsenal, especially recently, kind of coincides with Aubameyang's downfall, because he had been a top 3 striker in the Premier League the year before Arteta joined.
Golden
The year
Boot.
before that, he drew the Golden Boot.
Yeah, 3 of them shared it, no?
Yeah, and he was up there the season Arteta joined as well. He saved our asses. I mean, against City, he was the one who scored. Against Chelsea, he was the one who scored 2 goals, right? So he's the guy that kind of saved us. And I think once we didn't have that clinical striker, because, he got malaria, he had COVID, there's so many things that happened to him in his life. His mom wasn't doing too well. So I'd almost rather put the blame on Arteta for not bringing that stuff out of other strikers. And Keddy at one point was looking solid. He hasn't tried Pepe at striker. Lacazette was looking good, and then he just kind of pulled him out of the lineup, put him back in. There's a lot of things that are happening that it feels very haphazard. As much as he thinks he has a vision, I feel like he's pulling at straws, because we haven't played the same lineup for more than 3 games in a row in the time that he's been here. Some of it's due to injuries, some of it's due to players not performing, but a lot should be put on him, because I feel like we start off games very poorly. I mean, the amount of times we've been scored within the first 15 minutes, that's not how a team should be playing, especially one that's supposed to be considered defensively sound now. We have a good back line. Bringing in Gabriel coming back in has been huge for the team. And I think he won Arsenal Player of the Month as well. So, having that strong defensive line, some guys haven't been performing since the game, since it started back up. Tierney hasn't been up to par. Partey has been decent defensively, but some of the shots that he takes, I mean,
But we've seen that happen where when the team goes into slump, it's just all the players come down at the same time.
There's no one to
all the players
carry
level
it.
drop. We've seen that at Chelsea too, with Mourinho the season after he won.
Another
For
big
sure.
thing I think also is a part of the flaw in the Arsenal form of playing is their midfield. Their midfield doesn't have any real quality. And it's been like this for a long period of time. You can't say over the past 4 years that this player has been exceptional at Arsenal. There's not a single player in their midfield that you can say that about.
I mean, you can say that about Ramsey before he got injured, if you remember.
But how long ago
Yeah,
was that, no?
but none of
That
these
was
midfielders
2.5
per se
seasons.
will
I'm
get
talking
to
about the
the top
recent 2-3
teams.
years.
Yeah.
And the
If you're
recent-
talking about during Arteta, yes. There's been times where Guendouzi was performing, and that's where I kind of start drawing on why I find Arteta has some issues, because instead of letting players who are class continue if they have some sort of issue internally in the team. I feel like he's more readily available to like get out of here. Not playing Saliba, not bringing Saliba into the team. I feel like he has this. Maybe it's French players, I'm not sure, but I feel like he has this issue where instead of working with a player outside of Xhaka, for whatever reason, Xhaka just gets a golden pass for every manager. I don't understand what it is. I don't know what Xhaka knows about all these managers, but I feel like he just has this free pass by everyone because he's flipped off the fans. He's had some of the dumbest red cards I've ever seen. He's had some that shouldn't have been red cards just because he's Xhaka, but he's done very, very dumb things on the squad, and the managers just forgive them so quickly. Like I don't understand it. So I find the man management in terms of the personality is something that Arteta just doesn't have. And being at City with Pep, I feel like that part of his ability to grow a player, like he was great with Sterling. I don't know how great he was with some of the other players. And I find he's great with Saka, but I don't know how he is with some of the other players.
Pep
Is
never
it
had to be
possible
a
that
good
Pep,
management.
yeah, since he was under Pep, and Pep isn't shy from like dropping a player, and maybe he's picked that up from Pep. But Pep has a squad. If Pep drops one player, he can replace him with like two players of equal quality.
Exactly.
I think that doesn't work.
Arsenal don't have that kind of
Exactly.
luxury.
And secondly, my coming to the point of the squad, what do you think of the buys this window? Because like Arsenal were like heavy spenders this window.
Also, I wanted to add on to that question: were the buys Arsenal's
Arteta's buys? Exactly. That was my next.
Was it his buys?
Yeah, exactly. What did Arteta buy?
What I thought of the transfer window, I thought it was good, but the problem is we're looking for a team that needs.
But these were not signings that you would bring in to say win within the this year or the coming year.
No.
This is something which would require time, and he's come out and said that himself.
Required in the team.
Yeah.
To build a squad.
I think it's to build for the future. I mean,
it's
personally,
building
that's
for the future. I mean, Tomiyasu. Oh my God! Like the class that this guy has coming in from Belgium, coming in so quickly and performing as well as he does. He's won a bunch of player of the matches just because of how well he's performed coming into the team like that. Sambi Lokonga has been playing very well. Ben White, he's been up and down. Like I can't really say.
Ramsdale's been good, yeah.
Ramsdale's been great. So all these young players, I find like Odegaard. Okay, he played with us last season, but he's showing more class this season already than he showed in the time that he was at Arsenal last season. So these are great players, but the problem is Arsenal needed a finisher. Arsenal needed someone with like ruthlessness and personality. And we brought in guys that let's say City brings them in, let's say Chelsea brings them in. You're like, these are great signings to, keep this team where they are. But these aren't signings that are going to propel you to the next level.
Yeah, but don't you think Martinelli was supposed to be that guy for you?
I mean, I saw that in him before, but Arteta apparently doesn't see anything in him. Again, it's the same thing where you see one player like Martinelli has a poor game, first game of the season when Oba, Lacazette, pretty much 90% of the team was sick against Brentford. So he put these guys in. Now they're not even making the bench. Now they're not even getting to play in like games that don't matter. So there was so much promise in a guy like Martinelli. He gets injured, so maybe he's trying to bring him back slowly. I'm not certain, but he's always shown, even when he came back from injury, he had a run of games where he was proving like he was class. And I personally would love to see a lineup of Saka on the right, Martinelli on the left, and Oba in the middle. I feel like that speed would take a lot out of a lot of the defensive lines that are more solid, because you also need someone who's willing to take shots. Emile Smith-Rowe is not willing to take shots when he's playing on the left. Saka sometimes doesn't take shots on the right. So Martinelli is one of those guys that it's a very Brazilian attitude of, I'm going to score on you regardless. And he has that like footwork. He has the ability to cut in and take those shots. So, most of our shots against Brighton were by defenders. It was Gabriel on a header. It was Partey taking 2 shots from midfield. A couple of the shots were just horrible misses by Oba. So it's we need guys who are willing to take shots, and we just don't have those guys. Even Odegaard, like he had a very poor game against Brighton. So
Brighton's been good this season. I mean, Potter's done a really good job with them. They've been a really solid team.
They've been great, but like if you consider the run that Arsenal was on before that, I mean, okay, again, wins manager of the year, slow month. But they had for the most
Guys,
part.
sorry to interrupt. I'm going to bounce. Sorry to interrupt.
Peace, homies.
Love.
Take care, man. Have a good night.
Have a good one. It's always perfect to end it on Arsenal, for me. For a great night ahead.
Start and end, yeah.
Take
All right,
care,
drink
guys.
responsibly, bro.
Yeah,
have
always. I'm not drinking. No.
Oh, nice. Just be responsible then.
Yeah.
All
Cheers,
right.
guys.
All right, take care.
Yeah, sorry, where were we? Actually, Kunaal, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
In my opinion, Arsenal are competing this season with fifth place to eighth place. So basically, what I mean by that is like we have the top four, right? We have Chelsea, United, City, Liverpool, right? Arsenal don't have the squad depth.
In no particular order.
Right?
I hope it ends in that order.
In no particular order.
Wait. Guys. Sorry. We've actually just skipped past a few bits. My face was twisted. So I heard something like Arsenal spent X amount in the last transfer window and they should not be competing for the title. That is absolute treachery. They spent over 100 million.
That was not. No. My point was not. My point was this spending to win a title or was this spending to build a squad? Because these are not signings you signed to win a title. Absolutely not.
I don't care. You don't spend 100 million and talk to me about not trying to win a title. It doesn't add up.
But
you can't spend 100 million.
No, but SHEGZ, you need to see where they finished last season and assess what they're capable of, right?
Guys,
let him talk.
Hold on. Pepe was how much?
But
You had Aubameyang, like you guys said, was top 3 strikers for the last 3 seasons. You spent 100 million. You brought it, and you're telling me that these guys still can't compete for the title.
I'm talking about this window that they spend the money on these players to build the squad.
I know, but all these players I said earlier, and exactly, how can you sign
SHEGZ, let me ask you this. All these players that you named, what's the highest you've seen this team finish over the last 5 years?
Look, this is where I was going with my question. Because clearly it's not a talent issue in Arsenal. They have the talent for days. But there's something else that's missing. Because, Granit Xhaka and his movements. I love watching him play.
It's just that so many teams that are better than the Arsenal squad. Arsenal don't have a great squad to begin with.
It's not a bad squad, but it's not a good enough squad to compete with the
Absolutely. It's definitely a great squad. It won an FA Cup, so it's definitely a good squad.
They have a good 11, but they don't have a good team for the league. They don't have
and
depth,
which means a good 11. It's not a great 11.
The similar teams that they are competing with are teams that have a good 11 but no depth, which is Leicester, which is Villa, which is West Ham, which is Spurs, right?
I mean,
these are the 4 teams they're competing with, right?
So when we talk about transfers, I agree with you, but I will say Arsenal just didn't spend well, and they're not known for spending well, right? Like we're talking Mustafi, we're talking re-signing Xhaka, like a lot of these things, the money that they put in, they don't do a great job. I think Edu is very much, his job is on the line, but also we don't have the luck of falling ass backwards into Ronaldo. Like we don't have that luck sometimes, and you need to be in competitions to sign these players.
Lucky?
No one's going to come play for Arsenal.
No, hold on, Kid White. Did you say we were lucky to fall into Ronaldo? Just say that again one more time for me, so I can react as angrily as I should have.
Wait, is my mic not working?
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. I just wanted to hear you say it again, so I can get angry again.
I mean, how is that not lucky? His situation at Juventus. How is it not lucky?
How is it?
It's his choice.
Juventus were a trash team. They were not doing well. He was gonna go to Man City. Deceived all of you guys. Played a little game with you guys. Did a little 1-2. Came to United.
He saw more prospects of a trophy in United than at his current situation in Juventus.
We all can agree that if Ronaldo was going to come back, it was going to be to United. I mean, if he was leaving Juventus and moving forward,
right?
And it was going to be United.
But you also have to remember that
it's the fairy tale dream.
It's you also have to remember that in the past 10 seasons, he's always won a trophy.
Yeah,
So
fair
when
enough.
he's looking to switch, he's going to look to switch
No,
to the
What I
most
meant was
relevant club that he's going to win that trophy to.
whether it was
And
this
that's
season
why
or
he chose United.
whether it was 2
Nothing about
seasons later,
luck.
it's always going to come back to United.
no,
I mean, it was just
You
There's-
can't say that. If it was 2 seasons later, he could have gone to Inter Miami. He could have gone anywhere for the money.
but it's not for the money. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
he wanted.
Yeah.
He's not going to go anywhere
Exactly,
outside of
that's the point.
UCL and let Messi take his UCL record. There's no way he was doing that. Not until
Yeah.
Messi retires. No
Yeah,
chance.
but no one else could afford him too, right?
but there's no.
It's
It's
not
he
that
was what
it's
20
Not that
something
they could afford
million.
him. He wouldn't,
No,
he wouldn't go anywhere
there
else.
was
That's
City
not,
that would
there was
afford.
no
That could
No,
chance.
afford
apart from
him.
City, bro, there was no other noise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no, of course.
in sort of a sense, it was a panic buy from United because they couldn't let him go to City. And if he went to City, it would have they would have seen more eyes.
Yeah, it's not a panic buy. It's just a thing. That's the right thing to do.
No, not that it's a bad.
I'm
move.
saying at the start
It's
of
not
the
a bad
transfer
buy.
window, I don't think Ronaldo was a
It
target.
was an unexpected buy.
Yeah.
Definitely, they
Yeah.
weren't
It
expecting
wasn't a
Ronaldo
target.
at the
Yeah,
beginning of
there was
the
no
window.
plan to buy Ronaldo.
Exactly.
No chance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't a plan.
When City, they had to get him. Like if not, they probably would have spent the money elsewhere, right? On a DM, wherever else you needed, because
Yeah,
you had
well,
money and you have Greenwood.
It's
right?
Ronaldo, man.
Where
Yeah.
would United be without Ronaldo right now?
You don't know that. You don't know that. I mean,
You can't say
they
that,
have
bro,
a
because
squad. I mean, you could have still been in the same position without Ronaldo. But
How
of
many of
course,
the goals did he
of course,
score?
Guys, I am not taking banter from an Arsenal fan. Not now and not ever. No way. No way. Look,
No.
Wait, are you sure you just can't hear me?
no, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay.
It's because
Just making sure.
it's because you asked where would we be without Ronaldo? Without Ronaldo, we still finished second. We still got to the semi-finals of the.
Wait, where are you right now?
We can lift accolades.
You're fourth right now.
Don't worry about.
2 points off
Second
top,
place
right?
is no
What,
accolade.
6 games?
Let's
It's
get this
2
clear.
points off top, no?
Second place and the finals in the Europa League is no accolade.
Bro, this is so
Absolutely.
banter. You're only 4 points ahead of Arsenal right now.
I know, right? Look. It happens to the best of us. To be honest, once we get
And it
our
happens to
team
United too.
back, as I said, it happens to the best of us because between
And
us and the
United.
top, is what 1 point? It's like 1 point between us and number one.
No, two.
So look, 2 points maybe. I mean,
That's
look,
double what
Too
you
early in
said.
the season to start counting how far you are or
Yeah,
how
yeah.
ahead
No,
you are.
I'm just joking about that. But like, you can't see you're not going to take banter from an Arsenal fan. I'm also a football fan.
but it's not from an Arsenal fan. It's not from an. I
But
think
also
from
a
anybody
football
else.
fan.
From anybody else, but not an Arsenal fan.
Oh, so you're gonna say some guy from Burnley's gonna be like, "Hey, United's shit," and you're gonna be like, "Oh, fine."
You know what?
But you
You
just
know what?
me as an Arsenal fan.
Okay. I think who do you think needs to go to the Arsenal team that will turn you guys from 5th to 8th position to maybe like
Top
4th position? No, not top 4, just like 4th position because it's Arsenal. So how could you make that jump from I don't know 8th to
Arsene Wenger.
And also we trust that.
As much
Which-
as we gave him shit at the end of his career at Arsenal, he, with some of the worst teams just in the history of the planet, got fourth, and we were complaining, why is it fourth? Because he at one point he got situated, and the board loved him because he wasn't like asking for players. I mean, he built certain players. He built these guys into the players that they were. I don't see Arteta doing that. I don't see many managers anymore doing that because of the amount of coaches that you have too. But just there's a class that comes with Arsene Wenger. There's a class that comes with Sir Alex Ferguson. Like these guys are up there.
Yeah, but this begs the question: is it the manager that's important, or is it the players that's important?
Yeah. Would you take any players at your team right now where you think they would change your fortunes?
First of all, I think a better manager would be able to do better with his team because I do think they're much better than they've shown on paper the last 3 seasons. Not paper, sorry, in results the last 3 seasons. I think they're a much better team.
I think the same can be said for United.
Yeah.
What?
It can.
What?
For sure.
I'm just saying a better manager would do better with this United team.
Oh,
No, I'm
not
just
that.
joking.
I'm talking about the
No,
results
I'm
to be
just
better.
joking.
No, he definitely agreed with you. I heard it. We all recorded
I said
it.
the results. I agree with that part.
I think there are players. First of all, again, it's weird spending so much money on players that are just going to keep the status quo with the team for now. So I do understand this guy's playing for the next 2 years. But if this guy, if Arsenal ends up being 10th, 11th, they're not going to have an option outside of getting rid of Arteta. And then you're going to have another manager coming in with players that they might not want. So you're building this team that someone can come in and they might not want. They probably do better than Arteta with it. But if they don't want it, then every manager can have the excuse of, hey, this team doesn't have the players that I wanted. That's what happened when Arteta came in anyway. Like Pepe just got dropped out of the rotation. All these guys are getting pulled out. Martinelli got pulled out. The only reason he played under Arteta at the start was because Oba had a red card. And he scored 3 goals in 3 games. And he assisted. He played really well. And then as soon as Oba comes back, guess who gets dropped out? Guess who's the odd man out? So I find that it's a mix of the two. You need the players to be able to push the team forward. And, there are things that a manager obviously can't do. A manager can set up plays where these guys get into position, but the players are the ones that have to finish. So there's those two things.
Executed, yeah.
And the biggest problem that I see just watching Arsenal games is Arteta's just standing there yelling over the team. It's great he can do it in French. It's great he can do it in Italian. It's great he can do it in Spanish. But you're just doing too much. Some players need some sort of freedom to be able to also move the way they want to move. And if you have a guy in your ear constantly yelling, do this, do that, Oba, run back here, this guy, do this, like there has to be a mix of the two. And this guy's just always standing and yelling at the players. So I think it's both. Like you can't say one is necessarily more important than the others outside of, the goal scoring aspect of things or the getting in the way of balls. But you need both to be on level in order to actually succeed outside of, the Ronaldos that come in, just score the goal and in the last minute bounce off the goalie, get that nice little tap in. That's what they need. But you know what? He does it well. So I'm just here to mess with SHEGZ now. That's all
I felt like you guys have, Lacazette, who was banging in goals for fun, and Leon. You guys signed Pepe, who was the best player in France. You signed, Aubameyang, and you're talking to me about, we just can't get our attack to work. That's because I feel like, I don't know, there's a whole problem systematic. Because you guys have changed so many managers in the last, 5 years? You've just gone through so many managers.
You've had as many managers as Chelsea.
But Chelsea is still winning, right? But
Chelsea has stuff to show.
Chelsea is still winning as well. They still win things.
Yeah. No,
that's the catch. So if you guys are changing managers and not winning, and Chelsea are changing managers and winning,
Okay.
It's not comparable.
So Chelsea has been like this. They've been changing managers every few seasons. Arsenal is like, imagine being married for 20 years, and then you get back into dating.
We are currently the best run club in world football, and nobody can debate that.
Amen.
I'd love to have a conversation if anybody can prove me wrong.
But there was too much
From including the academy, including the women's team, including the men's team, including the trophies since Abramovich came in, and everything that he's invested in, all the people he's put in those places. I don't think anyone can tell me there's another club that is doing what Chelsea are doing over the last, whether it's, let's say, 10 years or...
There is something to be said about an owner who loves the sport. I think they put more effort into putting the right people in. So that's where the ownership issue of Arsenal comes in, is they can spend the money. And now we've seen proven facts that they're willing to put the money in, whether it's coming in from, the revenue that the team brings, whatever it is, they're putting the money in, spending 130 million pounds, euros. I can't remember exactly what it was, but spending that money on players that are just going to keep the team as it is not smart play for a team that needs to move to the next step. So I find a owner that actually cares about the sport, cares about the team more, they would put more effort into telling a guy like Edu, hey, you're making the wrong moves. If you don't shape up, you're gone. So that's where, I will say you've gotten incredibly lucky having the owner that you have.
100%, because the passion this guy shows at the club, shows up to games, and you can actually see him celebrating like a penalty save, for example, against Bayern Munich, and these kind of things where you actually it shows that he cares about the club, and it's not just him splurging money. Like, we're making the people that are doing the sales side of it, of the players, the model that is in place with the loan system for the academy players, the placements of the academy players, whether all of them don't make it at Chelsea, they still make it at first teams in like Serie A or whatever league it may be. So I think the system and the people that they have put into place is just been so successful for Chelsea, and you can see the academy prospects coming up over the last, let's say, 3-4 years, where you can see all those investments are paying off, where he set up from the time he came in. So
the other thing is Chelsea finds a way to get rotten goat meat and sell it as Wagyu beef. Like, they find a way to sell these players that are worthless for more money than Arsenal has made on like top class players in the last 10 years. So like
William, sorry.
So is the difference between Arsenal and Chelsea the owner of the club?
It's the owner and the decision making.
Yeah. And the people in the right positions.
Whoever is in their positions and making the wrong decisions.
Making the right decisions, exactly. I mean, they have a clear idea of what they need to do. Like each person, each member of that football club knows what they need to do, and they get it done.
My owner is sitting in a box at an LA Rams game eating steak. He doesn't know what he does. He doesn't even. He calls it soccer. That's the problem. You can't be in an interview and call the sport, regardless if you're an American football watching person. You can't call football soccer to the English media. So that's.
He handed over ownership to his son now, right?
I mean, he's there. He says get excited. I don't know how excited you can be with Ben White for 50 million pounds, but like, you know, he says get excited.
So Kunaal, would you rather have a Varane for, was it 28 million a time, or a Ben White for 50 million?
I think
that's a tough question to answer because Varane wouldn't go to Arsenal.
Guys, well, the question wasn't for you guys. It was for Kunaal. I want to hear him try and defend Ben White.
So Varane is older now.
Sure.
And United is in a better position to win now, to win the league now, to win well, let's not talk about Champions League, but to do well in Champions League now. Whereas Arsenal, like the project, especially with the way Arteta is doing it, it's a longer term project. It's a